What's going on guys, CasualSavage here, and in this video I'm showing you how to use Vegas Pro 14. So I decided to make this beginner's guide a series. Last week I covered Premiere Pro, this week I'm covering Vegas Pro 14. I know lots of you on the last video requested for After Effects, that will be coming next week. So first of all, creating a new project. So when you first open up Vegas, you're basically already in a new project. But what I do recommend doing is saving the project when you start straight away, in case the program crashes, which has happened to me quite a lot. So come over to File and Save As. I just created a new folder and then call this project what you want to. Something that is relevant to the video, so then if you ever need to find the file, you can search it and find it easily. So you can see once you have named it at the top left, it will also say it here as well. So the user interface is very basic compared to Premiere Pro, what I showed you last week, and that's probably because I've been using it for such a long time, but it's very simple. Over here we have our video which will be playing, we have our project, and we have our preview settings which will tell us here. Here it tells us the frame, so if I go across you can see it tells us the frame we're on. We have video controls here which we will get into later on, same for the above up here. On the side we have project media, so anything you put into your timeline you'll find right here. We have Explorer, so you can find anything you want to that is on your computer. We have transitions. I'll probably have a lot more transitions than you because I do have some plugins. Then we have video effects. Again, I'll probably have more than you because I have plugins as well. And then the last one is media generators. So you get a bunch of different things, and this is also where you will find the text. Now, just like Premiere Pro, I've already customized this to match how I want it to look. Now, when you first open yours will probably look something like this. And to me, it's quite messy, not what I like. So the master volume I don't need, I can get rid of it. So I'm going to X out of that. This right here, this is when you insert a video, you'll be able to see the preview of it here. Again, not something I need, so I can X out of that. And this is basically my layout, but if you want to move things around, you can see there are these 4 dots here, or about 5, 6 dots, I can't really tell. There's some here, there's some there, and there's also some on the timeline. So for example, I'll move the video, I'll left click these dots, and you can see it says hold control to dock window. So I'm going to hold control, and you can see it's now docking. Now if you want to, if you have a second monitor, you can drag it off to the second monitor. That's what I've done just now, so I could preview it up there. You don't even have to have it docked, so you can keep it running around while you're still editing. So you can see, just leave it like that if you want to. I'm going to dock mine back here though. Now if you ever end up messing up the layout and you want to go back to normal, all you need to do is come over to View, Windows Layout, and select Default Layout. So importing a video, on my second monitor I'm going to import on right here, and this is the raw footage of the scribble effect I showed you how to do in After Effects. So you can see drag and drop, and like I mentioned earlier, once you drag a video into your timeline it will also appear in your project's media. So let's get into the uses of the timeline. Very simple. You can see as soon as I dragged in the video, a video track opened up along with an audio track. Now there's no direct buttons on actually how to add them. What you need to do is right click here. You can see you can either insert an audio or insert a video track. Now I will show you as an example, if you have another video that you want to put in, if you drag and drop it, you might automatically put it on the same clip. But if you just put it up a little bit, you can see they're both on a new track. So that gives us a total of 4 tracks. To delete a track, right click here, delete track, and you can see that's just deleted the video. But to delete the audio as well, right click, delete track. Now I'm going to be starting off over on this side, and this says level. What this basically is the opacity of the video, so I can turn it down or I can put it all the way up. So that'll be good if you ever want to overlay videos. Here is the track motion, basically allows you to position the video however you want to. Here you have track effects. Now what track effects is, if you apply one of these effects, what it's going to do is make that entire track, so any video on that track will have that same effect. Here we have a mute button which is going to hide the video, so again if you're doing overlays or a video on top of another video, you can see what it looks like without. And if you want to see how one layer looks, you can just press solo and it'll show that layer. Now these same buttons apply for the audio, so you can mute it or you can press solo to hear the music. Again we have track effects, which is going to apply an effect to every bit of audio which is on this track. Now you'll also see it says aim for record. This is because we can record voiceovers directly into Vegas. So I'll show you that now. I'm going to right click, insert an audio track, aim for record right here. You choose where you want it to save. Now I'm just going to leave it there for now. I'm going to select OK. And you can see this has now come up. So it's telling me my audio gain. And to start recording, we're going to come down here. As you can see, it says record. Also Control R. So I'm going to press record. It's now currently recording and it's in live or real time, I should say. And you can see as I'm talking, the track is also creating. Once you're done with everything, all you need to do is press the record button again. It's stopped and you can see it's saved here where we selected, and that is the file name. And you can either delete it or rename it or just press done. And you can see just like that, it is in place. Now for volume, of course, this is the volume of your audio. So this can go all the way to -50 or -60, I believe, -60, and then it goes to infinity, which means it's going to be off. And then it can also go to 12 dB, which will make your audio a lot louder. You can also come here on the side, double click, and you can just type it in. And you can also do the same for the video. So with the opacity, you can just type it in like that. Here is the pan, and this is basically the audio. So you wouldn't really need to mess with this because this is if you want it in the right side of the ear or the left side of the ear. It's optional if you want to do that. So maybe if you have more than 2 people talking on separate audio tracks, you can have one person talking in your left, one person talking in your right. So all of these tools down here are useful, and we just went through the recording one. This is the loop one. So for example, I can double click here. It's highlighted my entire video. But these are also render regions, so I can come down. So I'll loop this 4 seconds here. Now it's not looped just yet because we need to press this button. Now you'll see it's going to be in blue, so play it through. And you can see it's just going to loop back over and over again. If you want it to stop looping, just press the unloop button. Now we have play from the start, we have the play button, pause button, stop button. Here we have go to the start or go to the end. We have the frame button, so you can see the shortcut is Alt left on your keyboard. Down here we have the normal edit tool, but if you press this arrow you can see we get uses of all this stuff here. We have the envelope tool, we have the selection edit tool. Now this will be good if you have a lot of footage, and you can see you can just highlight and collect it all. We have the zoom edit tool, so you can zoom in to your timeline like that. And then also to the side here we can make the track bigger, and then we can also zoom in and out directly from here. The next one is delete. Of course you can also use the delete on your keyboard, simply just delete what you select. We have the trim start and trim end, and we also have the split. So if I trim the end, you can see, or trim the start, that's everything that was before this part right here. And then if I trim the end, this is everything after this line here. Now we also get something known as this lock event. Now what this does, it means we can no longer move anything that's selected on our timeline. The reason for that, or the use of that, is if you're editing, especially a music video, because there's so many different files, so many different angles in there, you might not want to move one, and of course you don't want to make a mistake, so this will be good for you. We move on to markers, which are useful, and again, you can set one there, you can set one here, and the shortcut for this is M on your keyboard, and you can also name them. So right click, rename, you can just call this 2, right click, rename, you can call this one 3. Now we also have here regions. Now regions will help you to do batch renders. I have covered that before, so I won't be showing that in this tutorial. Now you can also come here, right click, markers and regions, delete all. You can see they all go like that. The next one is the snapping tool. So for example, this line we have here, the video, it's still locked. The video, we can snap it right on that line, so you can see, like that, it's snapping. Same for markers, so I'll put a marker here and just move the line up here. You can see it's going to snap here, but we can also still snap it on the line. Now to trim, it's very simple. You just come to the start or the end, and you can simply left click and drag like that. And that's simple. And then same for the end, we can left click and drag. To split, we've already covered it down here, but the shortcut is S on your keyboard. Just like that, it splits wherever you select. Now I'm going to be showing you how to add some text. So what we're going to do is right click, insert a video track, so it's above. So that means we'll be able to see the text. We're going to head over to media generators, and from media generators you're going to come down and you can select legacy text. However, there's also titles and text, which are some pretty cool animations which are already built in. You just change the text, and I'll actually use fall down. So I've inserted the text and I'll just put Savage. You press Ctrl A and you can change a font from here. I'll use Impact. You can choose the font size. I'll put 50. You can choose it bold and italic. You can choose the center, you can choose the right, or you can choose the left, or even the center again. Text color right here, any color you want to pick. You can see this is chooses transparent. Over to the side we have the scale, which will make it bigger, smaller. And while we're at it, I will show you how to do some animation with scale. So this is the animation button here. You're going to see it throughout Vegas on different effects as well. I'm going to come across, and you can see at the bottom it's telling us our time. So that's 1 second and 4 milliseconds or 4 frames. And I'm going to put the scale up. So what the scale is going to do is make the text bigger. Then over to the side, we have advanced. So this way you can choose if you want a background on the text or not. Optional again. And then we have the tracking, which of course is the spacing between the letters. And we have line spacing, so if you have multiple lines, we can add an outline right from here. So I'll add a white outline like that. Then we also have shadow. So if you want to add a shadow, enable the shadow and set it up. So that is done, and we can X out of this, and this is what I just done. Now you'll notice that completely lagged. This is going to bring me on to my next thing I'll show you. Very simple. You can see up here it says best, and it also says full. You can try best and auto to start with, and then play it through. You can see still lagging for me, and I'm also recording, so it's using up more CPU. So I'm going to go to preview and auto, which is the one I usually use. So this is what I just done, and you can see just like that. Now it's still lagging, partly because I'm recording, and that's normal. So if you have more than multiple things up, it will begin to lag. But preview and auto is usually the best. If you need to, you will have to go to draft and auto. Not going to give you the best quality, as you can see. But once you export it, you can set it back to best and full. And of course, it will be in full HD. So more tools, which is along the top here. This one is a grid, completely optional if you want to use that. And you can choose how you want it. So save areas. You can also have closed captions. Here we have copy snapshots clipboard. Now if I press that and then I come across and press Ctrl V, it doesn't do anything. The reason for that is because we haven't taken a snapshot. How we do that is very simple. Right next to it, it says save snapshot file. So I'm going to select save snapshot file, and I'm going to save this here as image 1. Now you can see projects media has opened up, and right here is image 1. So I'm going to drag and drop this on, and this is that image. Now if you ever want to preview your video in full screen instead of just this little box, there's actually two ways. One way is not completely full screen, but you can just expand the box out, and you can see it's pretty big like that. Or what you can do is simply press this button up here, right here, and you can see it puts it in full screen for us. And you press space on your keyboard and it will begin to play through. Now I'll be showing you some transitions. Now instead of going to the transitions tab straight away, we can add in a simple fade. Just come to the start, look for this icon, and you can see drag it in. Now the more you drag, the longer the fade will be. So I'm going to pick 2 seconds, and then if you right click while seeing this icon, you can see you can get different types of fade. So that's a slow fade, that's just a straight linear fade, that's more of a faster fade, and you pick how you want it. So I'll pick the slow fade, and you'll see I'll actually put it on the video so then it'll be more visible for you. And you can see this is what it looks like. Pretty nice and pretty simple. However, let's say you like the duration of this fade, so it's 3 seconds. You don't need to change it to add a different transition on it. Head over to transitions, and I'll pick a standard transition. There are quite a lot of nice ones out here to use. For example, flash. What you gotta do, you can see there's different ones. You can hover over them and it will show you an example of what it looks like. I'm going to drag and drop this onto where that fade was. That fade has now been replaced by this flash, and you can see this has opened up, and this gives us full customization of the flash. So the tint of the flash, let's maybe go for a nice blue. And we can also choose how the diffusion works. So I'll pick more vertical, and now hopefully it's not going to lag, but I'll turn it down. You can see that's what it looks like. It gives that nice blue flash at the end. So it starts off white, goes to a bit of a grey, and then blue flash and straight in like that. Pretty nice effect to use. The same applies for text. You can add it onto text if you want to. Any transition you see, any video effects you see, you can add it onto text, video, or images. So you can see text now. Text is going to be lagging because it's already animated, but you can see there was the flash. Now I'll be showing you some video effects, so head over to the video effects tab. Again, I do have loads of different presets, but there are nice built-in ones to use as well. For example, film grain, to give it a bit of a film look. Or film effects, which is probably better if you're looking for film looks. We have very old film. I'm going to left click and drag this on my video. Now you can see straight away we've got an old look, so that flash for the transition. And then we have that old look just like that. Effortlessly just coming over to video effects, film effects, dragging that on, and we have that effect. Now you can adjust it. Just come over to the end of the clip and you can see you can choose the amount of grain, you can choose the tint, you can convert it to grayscale or not, optional, and you can also enable particles. And you can see you can have jitters, you can have scratches, and you can choose the amount of scratches as well. So you can see I'll put everything up now. Change the tint to a blue again, just for an example, and you can see that is now working like that. Now you can see yet again you can animate it, so if I press animate at the bottom, I can then come across, I'm currently at 0 seconds, but if I come across to 6 seconds, I can come to where it says preset, I can press this button and reset to none, or I will actually change it to a different film look. So like this, then I'll come across again to 15 seconds or 13 seconds, and I'll change this to reset to none. Now what I've just done is animated it. So these are keyframes we're seeing. The first one here is going to be the normal film look. The next one here is going to be the low quality color, and then the last one here is going to be reset to none, which will put the video back to normal. So playing this through, you can see we have that flash. We have the effects, we have the low quality, and it's reset to none, just like that. And that's the uses of animation and video effects. So the final part I'm going to be showing you is the rendering section. Now I should have said this at the start, but whenever you insert a video into Vegas Pro 14, you always want to right click the video, select properties, and disable resample. Especially if it's a moving video such as vlogs or sports video, because this will get rid of any ghosting. But then for the rendering part, so first of all, come over to where it says the project settings by pressing that gear button. As you can see, there are a bunch of different templates you can pick from. Usually I do recommend, or what I use is my own settings here. So YouTube, you can copy all these down. And you can also select start all new projects with this and select apply. And then you can come over to audio. You can see everything is there. I do recommend setting it to best as well. And then everything else you don't need to touch, you can select OK. Now, what is it we're actually rendering? Now, I want to render this first 15 seconds, or however long this is. I don't know how long I kept that effect on for. I want to render the first 8 seconds. So I'm going to press M on my keyboard to lay down a marker, and that's going to let me know from the beginning to here, that's where I want to render. So if I double click above here, you can see because the marker's there, the render regions are going to be marked there as well. I'm also going to set this back to best and full, and then we can either press this button, which is render as, bit of more of a shortcut, or come over to file, render as. Now this is what you'll be presented with. There's quite a lot to pick from. The one I personally use and been using for all of my YouTube is WMV. A lot of people will disagree and say MP4 because the quality is apparently better, but I never see a difference, and it's also a smaller file size. So you can see I already have a preset set up, but I made that preset from this one right here, and the way you customize them, press customize template. You can see video here, bitrate, everything else here, select OK. Once you're happy with your rendering settings, you can see the folder it's being saved to and the name of it. You can select browse to change it. So I'll pick mine here in that same folder, calling it example, select save. And now them render regions we made, which is right here, I want that part to only render. So you can see render loop region only. So that's that section here. Now once you're happy with everything, all you need to do is select render. Now one thing you should also note when you are rendering, when you add more effects, the rendering will take longer. Should be self-explanatory, but for those that don't know, that's what will happen. So for example, these film looks right now, adding them on at the start, has bumped up the rendering a lot longer. And this video this project I'm rendering right now is probably about 8 seconds long, but because I'm adding all the effects, it's made it over a minute to render. Now, rendering is done. Now you can either select open, which is going to open up that file directly. You can select open folder, which is going to open the folder where the file is saved, or you can simply select close. Now I'm going to select open folder. You can see here it is. I'll double click example, and this is the rendered version. And you can see it's come out pretty high quality. WMV doesn't make a difference. But that's it for this tutorial. Hopefully this has been useful for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, and peace.